And then he told me his story. And I was like, dang. So I said, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I was like, phew. And this is what that person did. That person allowed a suffering season of hardship to transform him into a loving, caring, empathetic person. The thing about God is a redeeming God. God is a redeeming God. And God can redeem those hardships and God can redeem those seasons to allow you to love and serve people better. Because on the other side of hardship, on the other side of suffering, you can see people in ways you couldn't see them before. I'm telling you, some of you guys, you've been through some major health issues and some major health challenges that I've never been through. I've never been through those. And you see people in similar situations in ways that I just can't see them and minister to them. Why? Because you have experienced it. And what will happen is God will transform you if you will let him. I think about a story of an actress. Many of you have heard of her. Her name is Angelina Jolie. How many of you guys have heard of Angelina Jolie? Right? She got some good movies out there. And she struggled with substance abuse and self-destructive behavior early on in her career. And despite being, she writes about this, despite being a multimillionaire and having awards and all these things, she said she really had no purpose and no meaning in life. She even said something that's very eye-opening. She said one of the worst days of her life is when she came to the realization that she had accomplished everything she ever wanted, and she still wasn't happy. She got everything she ever dreamed of. She could live anywhere she wanted. She could travel wherever she wanted. Her bank accounts had more zeros than she could count. She had more awards. She had it all. And she was like, I'm still not happy. Which, by the way, some of the things that we think will make us happy once we get to this level may not make us happy. They're a little early on that slide there. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But what she did is she ended up finding out about this organization that rescued orphans, and orphans were in a difficult place, and orphans were going through a hard time, and she ended up adopting a Cambodian orphan named Maddox. She adopted this Cambodian orphan named Maddox. And she said in her life that things started to change for her when she realized that the entire world was made up of other people, and she had the opportunity to serve other people. And when she realized this, that she could serve people, she ended up having purpose in her life that she did not have before. And you might be in this room and you might lack purpose and you might lack, I don't even know what's going on. Listen, if you will serve people, it will give you purpose. And back to that prayer that was put up there a minute ago, you guys can put that up there. If you're in a season of suffering, if you're in a season of hardship, this is something that you should pray in this season right now. And I want to say this, even though this is kind of out of order, is this. It's God, teach me whatever you want me to learn and transform me into whatever you want me to be. God, teach me whatever you want me to learn and transform me into whatever you want me to be. Now, guys, this is like a really powerful prayer. Like, this is a powerful prayer. And Angelina Jolie used this season of hardship in her life where she had been searching for things that did not give her answers, and it turned out to be a transformational season in her life where she realized that life was about serving other people. And if you will pray this prayer, it will do something in you. To serve people well, we have to see people. And if we see people, number two, this is what we'll realize, is that we can serve people based on their needs. Now, there's a lot of ways that we can serve people. In fact, next Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. How many of you are excited about the Super Bowl? Let's go. Okay. A couple things about next Sunday. One, wear your favorite team t-shirt or jersey, whatever it is. As long as it's not the Chiefs. Now, some of you, you're just going to wear Chiefs gear just to spite me. We will have ushers checking people at the door, y'all. Okay, that's right. Right? So next Sunday, wear your favorite team gear, whoever it is, don't matter, wear a hat or something, right? And we're also going to have like a fun little football photo booth where you can take like a picture with people and you and your gear or whatever. Also, it is Super Bowl Sunday for us. So we're going to make that a one-day food drive here at FCC. So bring a non-perishable food item, maybe soup, maybe something, and we're going to donate it to a local nonprofit just to help people in our community that have needs, and we want to help them. And this is why we want to do this, because we're a church that serves. We want to serve people in their needs, whatever their needs are. Now, if you're like me, sometimes I want to serve people, but I'm like, what? Like, how can I best serve somebody? How can I best serve people? Something was recently introduced to me that I'd never heard of before, and somebody was telling me, when you want to serve people, check the RPMs. I was like, RPMs? Like a car? Right, like a car engine, like you can see kind of the health of an engine, but RPMs, whatever. And they said, yeah, think about this. Think about how Jesus grew in Luke chapter 2, verse 52. He grew in his RPMs. Okay, think about this. It says, Jesus grew relationally. He grew in favor with man. If we can get that next slide up on the screen. He grew in stature. He grew in wisdom. And he grew in favor with God. Relational, physical, mental, spiritual. Read Luke 2:52. If you want to check on your own life, how you're doing, ask yourself, how are my RPMs? How am I doing relationally, physically, mentally, spiritually? And if we want to serve people, ask ourselves, how are they doing in these different areas? Have they shared some things with me about these different areas? Have they shared something with me that maybe is going to give me an opportunity to serve them? So how's somebody doing relationally? How are things at home? How are things with their kids? Maybe their kids and my kids are on the same sports team. We could take them to practice together. I can pick up their kids, take them to practice. I don't know. What is something you can do to serve people relationally? How are they doing relationally? How about letter P? How are they doing physically? Maybe you have a friend that doesn't yet know the Lord. Maybe they're sick. Maybe you can pick up some medicine. Maybe you can go bring them some food. Maybe you can do something to serve them physically. Letter M, how are they doing mentally? Maybe they've shared like some mental challenges, like some mental health struggles that they have, and maybe that might be an opportunity for you to serve them somehow. How are they doing spiritually? Have they expressed interest in God? Have they expressed curiosity about the things of Jesus? Like the person that I talked about earlier in the service that was sharing Christ through a group chat, his friend was like, I'm an atheist, but there was curiosity, and somebody here at FCC was like, if I get you this book, would you read it? The friend agreed to read the book and to meet afterwards and talk about the book, The Case for Christ. Well, what is that? That's this person saying, oh, this guy has a spiritual curiosity, and I'm going to try to serve them spiritually. Here's what you can do. You can ask somebody, can I pray for you? Hey, is it like, how can I pray for you? And this is all this is about. This is just about how can we best serve people. So to wrap this up, put a little bow on top of it, I want to give you guys a homework assignment. You got to ask a question, yourself the question, but then you got to act on the question, okay? We can't leave this in the room. Can we not leave this in the room? Who promises we're not leaving this in the room? Raise your hand. Okay, we got about 80%. I'll take that, okay? Here we go. Here's your question, yes. How can you serve somebody this week that doesn't yet know Jesus? Stop thinking about lunch, guys. Stop thinking about lunch. How can you serve somebody this week that doesn't know Jesus? Who in your life are you been praying for? Who in your life are you around? How are their RPMs doing? Now, you don't have to serve them in a big way. You can serve them in a small way. You can go to the coffee shop and pick them up a cup of coffee. Make sure you go to Pete's instead of Starbucks, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be big. It can be something small. But how can you serve somebody this week? Because when you serve somebody this week, it allows us to put Jesus on display. And most people won't be interested in what you believe until they see you living out what you believe. And can you imagine the power of a room like this, and we had a first service like this, with all of us saying, I'm just going to live out what I believe. I'm just going to serve people. And this isn't just going to be I'm going to sit here and listen to Nate talk for 30-some minutes. Hopefully he'll wrap it up on a Sunday morning. I'm actually going to live this thing out. I'm going to serve people. I'm going to do what Jesus did so I can live like Jesus lived, so I can make Jesus known to people, so I can make a difference in this world. Can you imagine that? God give the church community at First Christian Church a passion to say, I'm going to live like Jesus lived. You know what I'm saying? Guys, I say this all the time, but we are just getting started with what God is going to do here. We're just cranking up the pumps right now. We're just getting some gas in the tank. We're going, guys. We're going. We believe the best is yet to come. And for us, yeah. And for us, this is how it starts. It's not that we're great. It's not that we're good. It's not that we have ourselves together. It's that we have a great God that has given His life for us. He's given everything for us. And a grateful response is, you have served me, now I'm going to serve others. You have given everything to me, now I'm out of joyful delight going to have the privilege to serve people and make a difference in people's lives. And would to God that we be a people that say, you know what, Jesus, you've done it all for us. You've given your life for me. All these people in the world, they need the hope that I have in you, and I am just going to serve people however I can and give us that heart. And it starts with you serving one person. Just one. So this week, who's that one? Let's pray together.